So, making yogurt. Here are the only ingredients that you will need to do the vanilla honey yogurt that we do. If you want just plain yogurt, then you would omit the honey and vanilla, which sort of happens at the end anyways. So in the little container, we've got frozen yogurt that we've saved from a previous batch. That'll be our yogurt starter. Then we've got our meat thermometer because we have to take the temperature, a whisk just to make sure that the milk heats evenly. And then we use the Natrelle Organic 3.25% fat milk, but you can use lower fat milk, but you may not get as creamy a yogurt. And then finally, our giant Instant Pot. So before you get started actually making the yogurt, you need to sterilize the Instant Pot and any sort of container that you would be using to store. So in our case, we use mason jars, the smallest wide mouth ones you can get. I think they're about a cup per container. And so you'll put 3 cups of water in your Instant Pot, put the lid on, make sure that it's closed and not venting, and set it for steam for 3 minutes. And away you go. Once you finish sterilizing, what you want to do is you want to take the inner pot out of your Instant Pot and you want to get it cold. It needs to match the temperature of the milk. So my trick is to put it into the fridge and let it sit in there for 5-10 minutes before I start the next phase of actually making the yogurt. If you don't get your pot down to temperature, then you run the risk of scorching the milk during that boiling phase, and you don't want to do that. It just leaves kind of a burnt taste. It's not very good. So use the trick. All right, so I've taken it out of the fridge, the inner pot, and I am gonna actually start making yogurt now. So you wanna take your 4 liters of milk, and dump it into your pot. We're going to add our vanilla bean at this point. If you don't have vanilla bean, you just have vanilla extract, you're going to add that later after the yogurt has been made when you add your honey. So for now, we're just going to add our vanilla bean. So we're going to put it on the yogurt setting. So if you press on your Instant Pot, press yogurt, you're going to press adjust because we want it to be on the boil setting first. So once you hit that, it'll beep in a few seconds to let you know that it's ready to go. So in the pot, I've got my vanilla bean, half a vanilla bean I should say. I've scraped out the actual bean part and then just thrown the bean in itself. Now I will warn, I've never done it with a vanilla bean before. I've only used extract because I had extract. So we'll see how this turns out. So stir everything. This is a non-pressure setting, so you can just put your lid on. And you are good to go. So this is gonna go for probably half an hour, 45 minutes to get up to temperature. The temperature we're looking for is between 183 degrees Fahrenheit and 185 degrees Fahrenheit. So once it's done boiling, it's gonna turn to the yogurt stage. And if you haven't reached temperature yet, so we're just gonna give it a quick stir to see where we're at, then we need to change it to the saute setting to keep the boiling going till we reach our temperature of 183 to 185 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't think we're gonna make it there yet. And the reason you want to stir is it makes sure that there's no hot spots or anything in the milk, so you're getting an accurate temperature. I've hit the saute button. It can go for whatever time you want. It'll beep once it's ready to go. There we go. And we're close, we're about 10 degrees off. So just a couple of minutes, but because we're on saute, we'll have to keep stirring and we'll leave the lid off unlike in the boil yogurt setting. So while we're waiting for that to get up to the temperature we want, we're actually going to fill our sink with ice cold water. Do not use actual ice, just cold water from your tap is plenty good. And you want to do it start with about 2/3 of the way full in the sink. If you go too much, your Instant Pot will actually float and it'll be difficult to maintain stirring because you constantly stir during the cooling down phase. So while that's going, we're just going to take another temperature reading on our yogurt and our milk here. Let's just see where we're at. Getting there. Now it usually happens pretty quick once you get up to this level for it to get to that 185 degrees or 183. We're pretty close. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes while our sink is still filling up with cold water. So anytime now we could take out the actual vanilla bean that I left in there. So, alright, so our water is where we need it to be. We can turn that off. And let's check the temperature again of our milk because we don't want it to get too over that 185. All right, so we are good. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna pull it out of the pot. We're gonna stop the saute phase and we're gonna pull it out of the pot and put it into the cold water. So the important part in the cold water bath stage is to constantly be stirring it and checking the temperature. The temperature does drop rather quickly, so you don't want it to drop below 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Between 100 and 105 degrees Fahrenheit is where we're aiming for. So constant temperature checks is the way to go. We're still pretty warm. So yeah, you just want to keep stirring, sort of move around your water because you will feel that the water gets pretty warm. If you find the water is getting really warm, you can add more cold water to it. Just make sure you don't get any in your milk. All right, my water is getting a little bit too warm, so I've let out some and I'm adding some more. And the whole time, all I am doing is stirring and checking the temperature. Like I said, this happens very, very quickly, so you just want to constantly be checking and make sure you don't drop below that 100-degree Fahrenheit mark. And while this has been happening, I've left the ice cubes of yogurt out to melt this whole time. So they are ready to go. This is what's going to be our yogurt starter. And you don't want to use the ice cubes if you don't have to because it drops the temperature of the yogurt too much. So you want it to get to a creamy melted stage. Do not put it in the microwave to speed up that process. It will kill the bacteria. That helped me get to the yogurt. So we're just going to do a quick check again and see where we're at here. All right, so we are at a point where about 103, 104. So at this point in time, we can actually take this out. I just check a few spots just to make sure. And we are going to put this back in the Instant Pot. So before you put it back in the Instant Pot, you need to make sure that the inner pot is absolutely dry. And then we are going to put it in the Instant Pot. Now, before you forget, you've got your starter and we need to bring that up to temperature. So what we're going to do is we're going to temper it with taking some of our warm milk and just mixing it in. just to bring it up to temperature. And then once you're done that, we're going to dump it into our yogurt, or our soon-to-be yogurt, our milk. And that was approximately 2 to 3 tablespoons of yogurt. If you don't have it frozen like I did, just get yourself regular or organic yogurt from the store, and 2 to 3 tablespoons is all you need. And then just give it a stir around. You will then put the lid back on it in venting mode. You don't want it sealed. And finally, you're going to hit the yogurt button. We're going to adjust so you get to the 12-hour time, not the 24-hour. And Seth and I like ours a little bit more tart, or tangy, I guess, for lack of a better word. And we want it to be 8 to 8.5 hours. And you are ready to go. That's it. Your yogurt will incubate for about 8.5 hours, depending. You can go as little as 6 hours. It is less tart, it's really mild. Up to 10 hours, which can be fairly tangy and tart. At the end of your time period that you've put into your Instant Pot, then you will take it directly and put it in the fridge, cover the top with saran wrap, and you'll leave it for 8 to 10 hours to set in the fridge. Do not touch it, don't stir it, don't do anything with it. It needs to set, and it takes that long to do it. So once it's done, I will show you how to make Greek yogurt from there. All right, so it's been 8 hours, and just a little over 8 hours. And we've taken our yogurt out of the fridge. As you can tell, it's totally set. It's not moving around. It's got a pretty good, it's solid. So at this point in time, if you don't like Greek yogurt, this is your yogurt. It's ready to go. If you want to add honey at this point, I would add about half a cup of the natural honey that we use. If you would like Greek yogurt, there's one additional step that you have to do now, which is straining the whey off the yogurt, which is what's going to make it really thick, really creamy, just like Greek yogurt. So in order to facilitate that, you're going to need a sieve, just like this. We have the biggest one that we have. I use a pot, and then you'll need some additional cheesecloth. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the sieve right inside the pot. We're going to line it with cheesecloth on top of that, just like so. And then we are just going to scoop our yogurt into this little apparatus we've created and let it sit an additional 3 to 5 hours in the fridge. Now, this takes me a few goes because I only have a certain size of sieve and pot. You can save the whey once you're done and you can bake with it. You can do all sorts of things. Or you can just toss it and then you've got delicious, creamy, ready-to-go Greek yogurt. Once you've done all of that, once it's all done straining, then what you're going to do is you will add the honey and vanilla if you're just using vanilla extract, and your yogurt will be ready to go. Alright, so as you can see, it is in there, it's straining, just needs to go back in the fridge for about 3 to 5 hours.